Hello everybody, this is Maniac4Bricks, and I'm here today with the LEGO Creator set, the Green Cruiser. This is set number 31056. It is ages 6 to 12, has 122 pieces. This is a 3-in-1 building set where you can build one of 3 different vehicles at a time, and with the same parts contained in the set. This is from 2017, and it retails for $10 in the United States. That is actually a really good price for it, considering the number of pieces that you get, but also the value of these vehicles. Let's take a closer look at them, starting from the one that takes the least amount of pieces, and go all the way to the one you see here. And we'll talk about all the different features of each vehicle along the way. And we'll also test out if each of these vehicles can hold a minifigure, because something of this size usually can. We'll see how it works out in the video review. So here we have the smallest model from this set, and right out of the gate, I already like it. This is supposed to be some sort of speedboat, as you can tell by 2 outboard motors on the back, and it's sleek and kind of curvy design, a little bit of sloping on the sides and towards the front, even some on the back as well. You can kind of get a little bit of an engine feel back here with those cylinder pieces. It has enough room in here for one minifigure, and you can turn the steering wheel up and down as well as side to side. What I like about this set is that right out of the gate, this has room for a minifigure. This is something that I'm looking forward to for all of these sets, and I'm glad that even the smallest one still has room to fit one minifigure inside. It has enough room for leaning him back and having him relax a bit against those tan seat kind of pieces, and you also have room for, again, holding onto the steering wheel. I also like how the front is used. This is the same piece that we later use for the car, but they use it pretty nicely to surround the area for the boat, for the windshield. It's pretty much not going to float on water though, because it's all flat on the bottom, but it still makes good use of all the pieces. I also like, for a little bit of accenting, you can kind of see it there, and you'll see it up on this side as well, the white and red that's thrown in just a little bit on the color scheme. The white works well with the rest of the model for the green, light gray, tan, and some black. But I just wanted to make note of that. Also, we get some lights on the back of the vehicle, which is good to note, and I can't quite tell, but it looks like the wheels in this set might be newer. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but they seem to be a little bit of a newer mold compared to these smaller wheels that we've gotten over the years. It just seems like it's something different in this style of the wheel that just kind of stuck out to me. Other than that, there aren't really any new pieces to talk about in this set total. Maybe a little bit for recolors of green, and there's also the trans black piece here, but I believe that's been used before, so correct me in the comments if I'm mistaken. Otherwise, let's move on to our next model. Here we have the second model in the set. It looks like it's one of those trucks that would be carrying a tractor trailer because of the way the back is situated, but it's kind of hard to tell exactly what kind of truck it's supposed to be. I'd like to mention that there are 2 1x2 trans clear pieces that are used just to heighten it a little bit and keep it sturdy on this rotating base plate. Now, as we get into the set, there's really not much to say for this one. It doesn't have any particular opening features or any special design to it. It's kind of all over the place, actually. It's got, all the different colors and different spaces. It does keep most of the green and white color scheme throughout. It doesn't really have cover over the wheels. And in my opinion, it's probably the weakest of the 3 models, and something I'm not personally a fan of. And I'm not just saying that because you can't fit a minifigure inside of there. Honestly, it's like physically impossible. The way that they've designed the inside actually lines up with how the outside is done. And even if you take the roof off, there's not going to be any room to fit a minifigure inside of there. It's just a little all over the place. I think the best part about it is the hood area, and that's just about it. I mean, the rest of it is just kind of like getting the shape of it being a truck, but not necessarily being cohesive. Especially when you look at the front area with all the tan that's just kind of in and out of things. So there's really not much else to say here. It is nice that they put in some of those, rear view mirrors in the white pieces, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it rolls just like any other car in the set does, but that's all I can say. And last but not least, we have the namesake of the set itself, the main model, the Green Cruiser. I really do like how everything came together for this one, and I know that for most creator sets, this is not only the thing that provides the parts for everything else, but it's probably the most focused on as far as the build goes. Although, I think there's a few things here or there that probably could be done better. But we'll take a closer look at that in just a moment. First, I just want to take in the nice color scheme that it has, with just, the main color green. You got the accents of tan for the seating area, and then you also have accents of white for the front, sides, and back. It's a pretty good balance of color in between everything. I also like how the yellow is put in here for the license plates. I'd also like to mention, for the review, I've added a couple trans clear pieces just to keep it balanced, because on this base plate, it doesn't always... It tends to rock back and forth depending on where it's sitting. So I thought this would be a good way to display it. So on the back, you get to see a whole bunch of lights back here, some exhausts, and even one of the features of the set where you can open it up and see the engine underneath. Now, I kind of like that because there are a lot of times you'll have Lego cars that'll have a front engine, and this one has it in the rear. This is something that you would see a lot of older cars have. Sometimes muscle cars have this sort of style. So it's really nice to see, and also nice that you can actually just see through it with the trans black pieces right there. So as we spin this back towards the front, you can actually see there are 2 seats in there, and fun thing, you can fit minifigures on them. This is fantastic. I am just going to fit on the front driver's seat. You actually could change this around if you wanted to. Make it European car, just take the steering wheel, put it on the other side. Very simple, and I think that's something that internationally will be appreciated. So I'll just fit my sig fig in there. I'll throw the Infomaniac on the other side, and they fit just perfectly on there. Good enough room to hold their hands out and just look like they're driving inside of the car. Now, with that in mind, I'd like to say there are a few cons with this set, or at least this model particularly. Number one, it is a little bit on the boxy side. You kind of get this squarish shape as you look around on different sides, and even though it is having a lot of slopes on the back, a lot of nice curves here, it doesn't really carry through to the front that well. And even on the sides here, it's a very basic kind of construction, but in my opinion, I think that works better for the set because of the price point, age range, and so on. It's just easier to build and still fun to take a look at. Now, the next thing I have a problem with is the underside, and kind of can see it right above here. There's a whole bunch of space in here that's very gappy. I know cars can be gappy underneath, that's fine, but when you can actually see through the driving area itself, where everybody's seated, that's kind of a problem. And I can understand maybe you could put a tile or two in here, try to make some sort of radio setup, and maybe just throw another brick or two underneath just to fill in those holes. But I don't know if they could have added like another piece or two into the set, or based on the extra parts, if there could have been something extra just to squeeze in there. So I would appreciate if that was something, you'll just have to modify that when you get the set in hand. But it still looks pretty good for the most part. If you don't look at it from that particular top angle or the bottom angle, it still looks pretty good just as is. And honestly, I would adopt this as my sig rig. If you don't know what that is, a sig fig is a signature figure, something that represents yourself as a Lego minifigure. And a sig rig would be a car that represents something about you or your kind of style of car. I'd say this fits for my style because I like the color scheme for this, especially green being my favorite color. And I like it in a simpler, easy to build style. It's nice and compact, and it also has room for 2 seats, which is something I always like seeing in Lego City sets and Lego Creator sets as well. Before we close out things with the review, I'd like to mention that in the instruction booklet for the main model, there is an advertisement for LEGO Worlds January 2017, as it's promised that they'll have more updates to the game. And it also features some of the LEGO Creator models and sets that you can actually recustomize in a specific building system. I actually think that's pretty cool for a lot of these smaller, cheaper sets that you can buy. Now taking a look at this set, overall, I think it's really cool. All the models have some really nice functions to them and have some good design with the same amount of pieces. What I really like the best is the particular one we have here, the Green Cruiser. I think might even be a good sig fig model. It's a good size that I would like for a Lego car. It's green, which is honestly my favorite color, and it's just able to hold 2 figures inside and still have some playable features along the back. So these are things that I like in a Lego car, whether it's from Creator or City or some other theme. So there you go. We just adopted my sig fig, or sig rig, should I say. So let me know in the comments below which of these is your favorite vehicle from this set. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And you can check out other LEGO Creator vehicles and LEGO Creator sets in general in the playlist in the channel, in the description of the video. And you can also check it out in the cards on the top. Be sure to subscribe and hit that little bell so you can always get notified of new LEGO sets that I'm talking about on the channel. We'll see you next time with more LEGO videos.